All right, so we are in Cyberpunk again. We have the brand new update that came out today for the NVIDIA drivers. Let's see what it is. I got it written down here. 591.86 on January 27th, 2026. So that is the update that we're checking out today on Cyberpunk. And so far, there's no real way to get down there without really just killing myself. So I'm not gonna try that. Yeah, we are looking about 90 FPS here or so. And really, you don't really need to start using upscaling until about high or ultra. We're just going to, of course, run through medium real quick just to kind of put it to bed. So this is medium, DLAA, no upscaling, just straight DLAA. Still gives you 63 FPS in this area right here, so we're still looking good. Stuff you can just run around with a gun and nobody gets worried at all. It's just, fine. All right, yeah, so we are looking like 63 FPS right here, so let's just keep on going. Let's go up to high, kick it back to DLAA. Everything moves around. I love that. All right, yeah, so we are looking about 55. This is kind of where I determined we needed to do a little bit of upscaling. So we're going to jump up to quality right now and change nothing else just to see what kind of performance we can get. Going up to quality is kind of like a no-brainer to me. Everything just looks the same and you just get more performance. So I mean, to me, like, unless you just really have like the keenest eye in the world and you are like 2 inches from the screen with a 10x zoom, I don't think you're gonna know the difference. That's just me. I could just, I do wear glasses, so maybe that's just me, but I just don't see a difference in any of it. So quality is kind of like a no-brainer in my opinion. So let's just come on through here. I don't know really where I'm going. I'm just kind of running around. But yeah, 96 FPS here, 95, 98. All right, so let's jump over and go up to Ultra. So this is the setting with without any. This is the highest you can go without any sort of ray tracing, and that still gives you about 75 FPS here on 4K. Again, the 5070 Ti is a card that I think a lot of people are looking at. It gives you a significant performance advantage over the 5070 with additional VRAM, while not costing. You get that nice 16 gigs of GDDR7 without having to go all the way up to the 5080. So this is a card that I think a lot of people really do consider in when they're looking for like a high spec rig. So this is why I kind of like to test it first when I start to look at either a new game or a new set of drivers that have come out, stuff like that. So let's go on up and just do a little bit of ray tracing here. So we're gonna go ray tracing low, go back to quality. That's what we were on. So everything looks good here. Ray tracing kicks it over automatically to DLSS, thank goodness. All right, so right now this is just gonna bring in local shadows, and it's not gonna be difficult to run. That is very typically almost negligibly different from Ultra. All right, so right here, and you do have a little bit of a dip just because there's so many lights and so many things going on here. So that's 56. I typically test in Dogtown, and there's not a huge difference there, but it seems like there is a little bit more of a swing when it comes to shadows in this area. So we're probably going to check out Dogtown just because I keep that as part of my testing bench anyway. But I definitely wanted to check out this area with a lot more ray tracing possibilities here, so that you can really appreciate it, because this game is beautiful with ray tracing. And path tracing, of course, is like next level. All right, so yeah, let's come over here. Let's go medium. Let's go back to quality. We're gonna need to probably go to balanced anyway. This is gonna bring in, I believe it's sun reflections. Yeah, I think so. But you are at in the 40s. So let's go up to balanced. We're gonna need to help it more than this for sure. All right, so let's go to balance. I'm just gonna confirm, yeah, sun shadows is what that enables. So you got local shadows and sun shadows. Ray reflections are like the big hitter. You're going to definitely need to probably go up to performance, even though right now you probably need to go up to performance anyway. I mean, you're at 50, 60 FPS here. So, and then at the very top, your latency, that first number is render latency. And then the second one is your just standard PCL that you see in all of my tests. I wanted to include both. One as kind of a, the time it takes for the frame to get rendered, and then the time it takes like a whole system latency would be more accurate for PCL. So, you know, that's why those two numbers are there right now. If you just are into PCL, just pay attention to the second one. The first one's just a render latency thing. So I wanted to include that. But yeah, we're looking like preset K is doing a pretty good job here. 55. We could do a little better. So let's go up to that performance. And that is going to switch us over to M, I believe. Yep, there it goes. So we are on preset M. That does give us over 60. We're about 71 right here. Ray tracing is really kicking this thing's butt a little bit in this area. So we are probably going to have to rely a little bit on frame generation if we want to do 4K on this card, but it's still going to be a nice experience, I believe. I don't think we're going to have anything to worry about in like a really major unplayable way. All right, so yeah, we are at 66 here. So let's just come over here and go to that very next level of ray tracing, which is going to be pretty much all of it before path tracing. So this is ultra. Right here, we are going to go to performance, leave ray reconstruction off because it will break the model still. And everything here is as you see. So ray trace lighting set to ultra. You might as well set it to psycho. It really doesn't give you that much more of a performance hit. And to be honest, I just turn it on. There's just no reason really not to. I'm going to turn all this junk off. I normally turn it off, but I'm trying to get through this pretty quick because I plan to go to Dogtown after this as well. All right, so there's your performance with that preset M, and that is giving you about 60 FPS here, which is quite nice, especially on full ultra ray tracing. So it's not path tracing, but you definitely have a lot of hey man, that ain't cool. Don't do that. Yeah, let me get him. All right, there we go. Let's see what else we can do. There we go. Come on. All right. I don't like that kind of thing. So, you know, he had to pay for it. All right, yeah, so we're going to keep going through here. 63, 61. All right, so let's jump up to the next level. So let's go to ultra performance, all right? I just want to test ultra performance and then go to path tracing because ultra performance looks incredibly good. And we are still on preset L. So if you take a look at preset L without any ray reconstruction, it is much sharper than ultra performance ever has been. However, your ray tracing is not as clean. You got kind of some speckles and stuff like that without that ray reconstruction being enabled. So you know, you just kind of have to think in terms of like what you are willing to give up for clarity versus you know, ray reconstruction being turned on or off or whatever. But right now we do not have it on. If I were to turn it on, which is just this toggle here, you'll see it kick off of the preset that we have. It might crash. Yeah, it's probably going to crash. Oh, it didn't. Great. Excellent. All right, so as you can see here, the override is off, so it totally reverted back to preset D for ray reconstruction. So the main thing you have to just kind of realize here is while preset L on ultra performance is incredibly good looking, you cannot use ray reconstruction with it. It still looks decent though. I mean, it's still not as clear as L for sure, but it does look pretty decent. All right, so let's jump over and go on over to the very next level here, which is kind of like Overdrive, the complete maxed out version of everything. Let's go back to performance, turn ray reconstruction off. That'll give us our preset back. So we're going to be back on M. All right, so path tracing takes over everything. And turn all this junk off. It looks terrible. All right, yeah, so everything's basically maxed out on whatever that preset is, okay? So everything is to the wall here. So what you've got is, okay, preset M kicked in. That's good. That's what I wanted to see. You've got 38, 40 FPS here on performance. I mean, but like, God, the reflections look so good. I mean, look at that. That's just like, you can't beat it. Ray tracing in this title is like masterclass. But yeah, let's just keep on running around here. We're going to be able to get this up a little bit and get a nice playable frame rate with a decent latency. All right, so yeah, we're at 50 milliseconds of latency, which to me is like the max on mouse and keyboard. I'm playing this on mouse and keyboard right now. That's kind of the max that I would want to go. But preset M does a decent job. You're still at 40 FPS though, so we need to work on that. So let's go up to ultra performance, leave ray reconstruction off. Everything is completely off. All right, so that gets you right to 64 FPS in this area. All right, so really it looks good, and you're well over 60 FPS most of the time in a very heavily ray traced, path traced area with all these lights. So you've got lights, you've got reflective puddles, you've got you know, multiple NPCs going on over here, like a lot of NPCs. You got smoke. I mean, you've got a lot going on in this area. So this area is extremely demanding when it comes to path tracing, and it's holding up just fine. I mean, you're at 67 FPS, and your PCL is at 36 milliseconds. So over here, I'm in the 70s. So what I'm going to do now is just run through some frame generation at this level to see how far you can take it without hurting your PCL too much. I have to restart, and I'll be right back. All right, so we have restarted, and we are back on performance. So we're on preset M, and we are on ultra ray tracing. So this is not path tracing, but we are on ultra ray tracing. All right, and that gives us 110 FPS here with a frame generation of 2x. All right, so let's jump into the settings and see what we can do here. So right now 2x, let's go up to 3x. I just want to confirm we are on performance, and as you can see here, we have ray tracing fully maxed out to psycho, and path tracing is off, so we're not there yet. All right, we're just going to go back one to ultra ray tracing and then see what we can do with some frame gen. So this is 3x. We're at 154 FPS with a PCL that's crept up just a hair. We are at 50 milliseconds. I mean, that's negligible. That's fine to me. It doesn't really bother me too much at all. 1% lows are 41, 42 FPS, so you can definitely see that base frame rate in those 1% lows for sure. That, you know, frame generation is not real frames, and it's evident in the 1% lows for sure. But yeah, we are looking good on our VRAM. Allocating 13. We got 16 on this card, thank goodness. If you are looking at 4K on a game like this, something that's extremely demanding, I would absolutely recommend the 5070 Ti, or maybe even the 4070 Ti Super, just so you can get 16 gigs of RAM, or VRAM rather, because it's a nice threshold to have that additional VRAM. So, you know, I definitely advocate for that if you can swing it. It's a nice upgrade from the 5070 for sure. But yeah, we're looking like 140, 141 FPS here. So let's go on up, check out 4X. Let's go 4X frame gen. That gives us about 183. Nice reflection. Still not path tracing, but we're going to check that out in a second before we jump over to Dogtown. So we are looking about 179 FPS here, all right? So let's just go to path tracing by going back to one here. We're going to go there, going to go to performance. We're going to keep it on performance, go back to a 2x. All right, so 2x frame generation. Ray reconstruction needs to be off for this, all right, to work. So let's turn all this mess off. This is a grueling part of this, but yeah, all right. So let's just do a recap. This is path tracing, performance, frame gen 2x, all right? So that gives us a little bit choppier experience for sure. We are at 75 FPS, but you can feel the choppiness because your 1% lows are, yeah, they're not great. They're 32 FPS here. So that is very indicative that you are running a very, very low base frame rate. So we're going to have to get that up. And the only way we can do that naturally is to go to ultra performance. Let's do that, because the further we go on this, just the more latent and crappy it's going to feel. So let's go up to ultra performance on 2x. All right, so this is path tracing. Now, as you can see, immediately we should get a nice break on our 1% lows. Everything does already feel way, way, way smoother. All right, let's give it some frames so it can, there we go. All right, so we're up to 44 on our 1% lows. So that's kind of where the game is running, right? So it's kind of like around that area. Preset L looks really good on your, you know, of course, without ray reconstruction. It still looks nice and clear and clean. Everything does look very different on path tracing. I mean, it's crazy how much better path tracing, or not path tracing, ultra performance, how much better ultra performance looks than it ever has. That gives you about 106, 107 FPS here. Let's go up on our frame gen. Let's go over here, go to 3x, check out our latency, make sure it's not too out of control. All right, so that gives us, you got to give it some frames so it can like recalculate things. So if it spikes, it'll come back down, and that's more where it's going to be, because you got to give it something to calculate whenever you make that switch. So right here at 47.5, I mean, that looks good to me. I mean, I would definitely play this way. Oh man, I just hit some barbed wire or something. All right, anyway. All right, yeah, so we are at 140, 151 FPS. Let's go up to 3x here, or 4x rather. All right, so 4x, and that will give us right at 171 FPS, and we are looking like this is a decent way to play here. If you're wanting some path tracing, just use that preset L. Of course, you have to give up your ray reconstruction right now. Hopefully we get an update. I don't know, I was kind of hoping this would be the one to update it, but it's not. So let's jump in here. I just want to close out with a little bit of a calmer area. Let's go down to the garage. But yeah, I mean, for right now, this is what it is. I mean, preset L, hopefully with ray reconstruction, will be like the ultimate way to play 4K on a super demanding title like this, with all the path tracing and everything just turned on to the max. But as you can see, there's speckles, and that's what that ray reconstruction is helping with. You've just got a lot of noise in the path tracing algorithm without being able to use the ray reconstruction. So that is just kind of like, you know, how it is. All right, let me out of this thing. How do I get out? There we go. All right, so we got some nice puddles here. So let's just let's kick it off of here and go back to, I mean, that's gorgeous though. Let's look at this with our ray reconstruction on. So of course it's gonna kill that model. All right, so that's inactive, but like it's definitely softer, but like you just do not have that like speckly noise. I mean, there's obviously things are much softer. This is the old stuff before DLSS 4.5, so it's absolutely, you can tell you are you're using upscaling for sure. But I mean, if you don't want noise, this is what you got to do. So if we go back over, just kind of want to look at look at maybe, just want to see like a decent place to kind of look at, like maybe look at the text and the gun. It'll just be a lot sharper. All right, so whenever you come back here, turn that ray reconstruction off. All right, so now you're on preset L soon. Where is it? There it goes. All right, so now the sharpness is back. Like you don't have the softness to the image anymore. It looks way better, especially from a distance. Like that was really blurry when I approached it, but now it's just not. But you do have the noise, like over there in the left, kind of back here in this area. Let me go ahead and see what I can do here. But right around there, as you can see, you've got noise everywhere. I did not hit the right button. But yeah, we're looking good here. I'm going to jump over and check out Dogtown. So I'm going to go load that save, and I'll be right back. All right, so here we are on quality with Ray Tracing Ultra. And as you can see here, we are at 40 FPS. So we're going to have to do a little bit of work. Jumping over to preset K. All right, so we're going to probably have to go to performance at least if we want to do just ultra ray tracing without path tracing. But again, this is one of the more difficult areas to run as I slam into a car for no reason. But yeah, we're at 42 FPS, which is, it's decent. I mean, it's not like unplayable. You want more than this, of course, but you know, some people are fine with it. So let's just keep going and go to the very next level here. So, all right, so now that we're back in here, we're going to have to do some adjustments. So let's go to balance. It's probably not going to be enough. I just want to see. But as you can see here, we don't have any path tracing turned on, just ray tracing turned all the way up to ultra. Not quite enough. You know, that we're still on preset K, balanced. So yeah, we're looking good here. I'm just like driving like a maniac though. That's okay. But yeah, we are looking 45-ish. All right, so our PCL's at 50 milliseconds though, and that's as most as I want on a mouse and keyboard. I can tolerate a little bit more on a controller, which I have switched over to controller because I am terrible at driving with mouse and keyboard on this game, so I always use a controller when I drive. But yeah, we are looking like 54 here. So let's jump over, see what else we need to do to get this up a little bit more. So let's go to performance. All right, So everything's the same, nothing changed at all, still on ultra. All right, so we did suffer a little crash. It tends to do that sometimes when I'm going really fast through all of these different settings, but we are back on performance. I'm just gonna jump in here, show you my settings, just so you know pretty clear-eyed what I got going on here. So right now we have got everything set to ultra, of course, but everything with ray tracing is completely maxed out, no path tracing yet. All right, so no frame generation, ray reconstruction's off, on performance, on and on and on. All right, so yeah, we are looking like 58 right here. So this is not necessarily a bad thing, because our PCL, that second latency number up there, is under 50 milliseconds. So you could just frame gen from here. You're close enough to 60 with a low enough PCL, in my opinion, to where frame generation would be perfectly fine, and you probably wouldn't notice a difference at all. So with that said, of course, I want to be thorough. I'll go to Ultra Performance and show you what it looks like with preset L on Ultra Performance. I want to kind of get over here first and get to this area where the that roundabout is. It tends to dip down just a little bit. Kind of gives you like worst case scenario right there. I'm going the opposite way of what I normally do, so that's really throwing me off. All right, so this gets about 56 right here. I'm gonna just keep on going around and get back on my normal little circuit that I like. All right, there we go. Now all is right in my world. All right, yeah, so we are looking like 55, 57. So you could frame gen from here, but we won't yet. Let's just go ahead and check out the next level up. Let's go to that Ultra Performance, leave everything else the same. So right here, Ultra Performance preset L does it. This gets you where you want to go, where you want to be without, I always click the stick in and it gives you like this camera effect. That is not me cutting the footage. That's just me clicking the stick in by accident. But yeah, we're looking like 84, 85 FPS here. Preset L looks nice and sharp. I mean, yeah, you don't have ray reconstruction, but at the same time, you are looking like way sharper on preset L. It's just a night and day difference from anything Ultra Performance has ever provided. So anyway, let's just keep on running through it. Right now, I'm going to go up to path tracing just to see what happens. All right, so right here, let's go to, let's see, we don't need to go, oh, let's go, okay, so Ultra Performance, we're not going to mess with that other stuff. Let's go to Ray Tracing Overdrive, which is essentially path tracing. Turn that off. No frame gen yet. We're just going to see what it looks like with just upscaling. So right here, that gives us, with path tracing, right at 60 FPS. That's quite amazing. But yeah, our PCL is down to 42 milliseconds here. And yeah, everything still looks quite nice. It does look not as good as ray reconstruction, of course. You're going to have some noise, and that's just part of it. Outside of that, though, it is just so much sharper than, you know, any model before this one existed. So hopefully we'll get both of them soon. Ray reconstruction is still on that preset D, so it needs to be updated. But yeah, we're looking about 60 FPS here. All right. So if you want to do path tracing, you could do it. You would just need to potentially run some frame generation. But what I want to do first is check out what frame gen looks like. All right, I know I'm gonna have to restart. I'll take care of that. What frame gen looks like on top of performance with path tracing, just completely, you know, all the way out. So with frame generation, I'm gonna run through a few more of these upscales, and then we will check out what the Ultra looks like without the path tracing with some frame gen as well. So I'm gonna restart. I'll be right back. All right, so we're back in it. We are on path tracing with a 2x, and we are dropped back down to performance. Now, I will say, although you see 67 FPS, 1% lows are pretty bad. Yeah, it definitely feels pretty choppy, and it has, you know, of course, a lot more latency. So really, I don't think this is like the best way to play it. I'll run through just some more of these, you know, these 3x and 4x just to show you that regardless of your FPS, it can still feel bad. And that is because your 1% lows are abysmal, and your you know, your latency, the PCL, is at 75 milliseconds. So it's just not a good This is my problem with frame generation and the way that they advertise it is, oops, they only show you, oh, 97 FPS, but they don't show you 1% lows just in the toilet and your latency super unresponsive. So, you know, I like to just clear the air a little bit, that these are frames that feel bad even though you see 100 FPS. All right, so they don't feel real. But you know, frame generation absolutely has its place when you have 1% lows that are decent and a latency that is good. So you know, that it's just kind of one of them things. You just have to kind of like watch how these companies advertise, especially Nvidia. They have some pretty shady advertising tactics. Looks like the preset just broke. What broke it? Let's see. All that stuff's on. That shouldn't matter though. I typically turn it off, but let's just see. Why is it inactive? There we go. We're back. All right. So yeah, we are on. We're on the still on performance, and it just feels terrible. So ultra performance is going to be where you need to go if you want to go with any sort of path tracing right here. So of course you can't use ray reconstruction. All right, so another crash happened. This game just really does not like when I change settings so much. So we're okay though. We're at 100 FPS here. This feels way better. Notice your 1% lows are about double. You're at 40 FPS, and that's going to make it feel way better than, you know, 8 to 20 or whatever it was doing. So yeah, we're about 50 milliseconds here on our PCL. Render latency is right around 20, pretty good. So everything looks good. Path tracing looks very nice. Of course, without the ray reconstruction, still a little noisy here and there, but overall image clarity is so much better on the preset L. So right here, this is 2x. I'm just going to keep running through it. Be kind of quick here before we drop it down to just regular ray tracing ultra. So that gives us about 150 FPS. Let's let those 1% lows even back out. Let's give it some time. Yeah, there we go. So we are at 40 FPS and 54 milliseconds of latency. So let's just jump back down into here and see what we can do on 4x. Just a nice, clean, all the way through test as I take out random municipal property. Yeah, so we are looking about, let's see, 184 FPS, 183. Still looking really good. Ultra performance is doing some work here for us to get this to run smoothly at 4K. But yeah, we're looking all right. So full path tracing, totally doable. Just use ultra performance. And I did want to call out, I am using a 265K, which is not the most gamer-oriented CPU. However, at 4K, it doesn't make that much of a difference, your CPU necessarily. But when it comes to 1% lows, you are going to get a little bit better 1% lows on typically an X3D chip, like a 7800 X3D or 9800 X3D, something like that. So I just wanted to call that out because this test is done with kind of a normal CPU. But at 4K, it typically doesn't matter a whole lot versus something like competitive 1080p. So yeah, for anyone wanting to ask me CPU questions, just let me know down in the comments. I'll be happy to walk you through any kind of purchase decision you've got coming up. But yeah, let's just keep on rolling. I'm gonna come down to ultra because it still looks beautiful and it's not near as demanding as something like path tracing for sure. So right here, ultra, let's go ahead and kick that psycho on. It doesn't cost anything at all, so, or hardly anything at all. Maybe like 2% of your entire performance. So yeah, we're looking like we're going to go to performance here with a 2x frame gen with basically RT Ultra. All right, so what that does is gives you 100 FPS here with 2x frame gen, 49 milliseconds. Let's give the 1% low some time to kind of sort themselves out. Whenever I go into the menu, it lowers the frame rate dramatically, so you need some real game footage for it to pan that back out. So right here we are at 41, on our 1% low. So we're up 40. So still pretty good. It feels nice and smooth though. I mean, really the frame gen is, there's nothing wrong with frame gen when you have a good, you know, PCL of right at 50 on a controller is perfectly acceptable. And on mouse and keyboard, it's kind of the top range, but I still find that it feels perfectly fine. All right, so that's 101 FPS here. So I don't think you're gonna have to go to ultra performance necessarily, but let's try it out anyway. Hopefully it doesn't crash again, because it does not like jumping around on these, especially on these frame gen settings. It really does not like that. So right here, 130, 140 FPS, 1% low, still around the same, because that's kind of our more real frame rate. Oh god, that was very, very tragic what just happened. Yeah, let's just keep running here. I need to run. Oh man, the chaos that just happened. Yep, there we go. It's very chaotic right now. So we're gonna just hopefully not die here. Oh my god. Leave it to me right at the very end to just completely blow the test with a side swipe. All right, so that's 140 FPS here. All right, yeah, we're gonna juke him, totally juked him. All right, yeah, we're just gonna keep going here. 149. So where we at? I hit the wrong button. I'm in a panic. All right, yeah. So let's come into here and let's go 4x on performance. Let's see if we can get away from these guys real quick, because they are everywhere. Man, pissing me off. Just leave me alone. I didn't. That was not my fault. Maybe it was, but I don't know. Yeah, we're still at 56, 55 PCL up there, milliseconds. So 183, 187. So if you give up path tracing, you don't have to use ultra performance. It's kind of what it looks like. But if we go to ultra performance with a 2x, come down here, leave everything the same. We are looking like 150, yeah, 150 FPS here with preset L. So this still looks really good. And you have 41 milliseconds of latency with a 1% low in the 50s now, so definitely gave you a lot of break there. So let's come over here. I mean, ultra performance looks good enough to almost confuse you for performance. So if you just want free performance, then by all means use ultra performance. I'm just saying you don't really need to. But yeah, let's go over and check out a little bit more. So we can maybe go. Let's check out, since ultra performance did so well, performance did well. Let's go to balanced on 2x. I just want to see if the 1% lows start to make it feel like a hitch fest. Here, let's give it some time. I just want to get like a real 1% low here and determine if it is, yeah, still, I mean, it's 35. I mean, that's not bad. I can definitely tell that it feels a little worse. So I would recommend staying with performance. At least, and it's fine, but we were testing ultra performance, so we already did 2x. Let's go 3x and see. Yeah, that's so much smoother. Definitely worth it for that slight visual hit. It's so much worth it, so much more worth it to have like a nice smooth running title. Yeah, so we are at 50 FPS on our 1% lows, but 184 FPS on our real time. And we are at 43 milliseconds here. So this is a 3x frame gen. And let's top it off with a 4x frame gen and go to bed because I'm sleepy. But yeah, we are looking at 224 FPS here. 1% lows, of course, that's your real frame rate down there. So that doesn't really move around too much. 42 FPS there, 51 milliseconds with preset L. Yeah, so this is a very viable way to play as well if you want a smooth experience with, you know, a lot of ray tracing. It's not path tracing, but it's still a beautiful game with ultra, you know, ray tracing. Bear in mind, whenever this game came out, path tracing was basically a test. It was a beta option because nothing could really run it. But now you can actually run it with a 5070 Ti with some concessions. But yeah, we are looking good here. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. If you like this kind of thing, please consider subscribing. If you are new here, of course, hit that button for me. But if you're not new here, thank you so much for coming back, supporting what I'm trying to do here. And if you have any questions, comments, whatever you want to ask me, just drop a comment down below, and we will see you in the very next video. Peace.